sub-Saharan countries, the rural poor are predominantly subsistence farmers, in families who derive the bulk of their income from the informal sector, while the urban poor are either unemployed or in the informal sector. People working in the formal sector, private or export farmers, have significantly lower rates of poverty.
The statistics in Kenya show that more than half of the people are still living in absolute poverty. Of course, poverty will always be with us, but absolute poverty is the level set by the UN which people need to meet their absolute basic needs. So one of the big problems in Kenya, of course, is the huge inequity. We're not a poor country. We have a lot of wealth and a lot of income is being generated, but it's not getting well distributed. So there are issues of equity, and that, I think, is linked to not only good government at the central level and local level, but it's also linked to people's ability to demand what is rightfully theirs. And in order to do that, they also need strong institutions.
The absence of a sustained income growth and an inefficient public sector have been the primary causes of poverty in East Africa.
People in the urban area do not even have housing, land, water, and sanitation. In the rural setup, you will find, like the districts where we work with, I don't think there's quarters anyway. At least each one of them there owns a piece of land. And they've got a house. The only challenge they have, they've got minimal incomes because they usually derive their income from agriculture, which of late has not been doing very well. I think there are quite a number of higher people. If you take poverty to mean those living below $1 a day, there are more in the rural and the urban. But basically, they are all poor people, and they all need support.
Slow increase of employment opportunities has resulted in a fall of real wages in most sectors of the economy, hence the rise of more people living below the poverty line. However, the Poverty Eradication Network has recognized that a high percentage of grassroots development initiatives and locally driven civil society organizations had stagnated after the initial motivation and energy behind the formation had subsided.
So we felt it was important to have a not-for-profit organization that could make quality inputs to other civil society groups and help to make them stronger at planning their own activities, funding their own activities. We work with the community to identify all the groups that they have in their sublocation.
We've done the environmental sustainability through raising of tree nurseries and growing for environmental sustainability. We've done the fruit production and marketing. And in that, I'm very glad and happy to see community actually changing their lives from peasant farmers to different people who are able to approach development in a broader level.
Through her mission in strengthening non-profit making groups and organizations across the complete spectrum of the civil society throughout East Africa, the Poverty Eradication Network is working to reverse this situation by working with civil society organizations and public institutions in building community institutions.
Why we seriously look at building the capacity of the communities is because we believe if you build the people's capacity, if you build people's institutions, these institutions are in a position to actually address the poverty of the people, the challenges facing the people. It is the people who know their challenges better than we outsiders.
PEN has practiced highly valued interventions by conducting, among others, board development, strategic planning, program evaluation, organizational assessment, human resource and financial system development, and resource mobilization.
If everybody works hard to develop the economy and to improve governance and to ensure resources get to the people who need them, we can certainly remake Kenya and reduce absolute poverty to a very small portion. So we in civil society are a part of that bigger picture, and we have a lot of challenges, of course, within civil society to play our part fully, just as the private sector and the government have their own challenges.
We have been, one, able to use less resources. We have been able actually to source resources locally. and the accountability and transparency of the realization of the resources we have got from donors has been very successful.
This has seen community institutions appreciating PEN's development approach and continuously taking control of the development agenda.
Kumanani wa mugobo zuni ona niende neza view. Ona nienda ni mine ni newe zumbingangi.
Ona mayoka kuondie se nundu inekala na mbesa no kethia ndie se undu ndo no siendese. Ende kubikapu zune mwe nundu indo na ido mbesa nini. Na ngaiva iteria muno kethia niende na ukwata baita muno. Kwa une iwa mambumeleti cheni.
When PEN came in, at least I got very excited. I wanted to start something for a girl child, but for a boarding. Then I requested PEN if they could fund 5 children for me to start with, and they accepted. I also requested them to maybe fund us for vegetable IGA, so that we can give to the infected children, the infected support group of ours, and the rest, the surplus we sell to sustain ourselves, which they did.
PEN has also initiated the strengthening of citizens' participation through community training on project leadership and management targeting several community-based organizations.
We have, of course, different types of partners. We are working more and more now with government, where we can complement what government is already doing. If we can strengthen the management of devolved funds, if we can strengthen people's access to those, if we can strengthen the civil society sector, these are all goals that we share with government.
It is very important to try to do with what each school has, making maximum utilization of what is available. Because you will also come to realize that a school, this is what I realized as far as this district is concerned. The schools that are well staffed or even overstaffed, they are not the best performing. They are not. In fact, it is the moderately staffed that are really doing better. So it does not mean that by giving a school excessive staff, it will perform better than the others. No way. Let the school try to utilize the facilities, the resources that it has. That is what I've seen, and what I've noted, and it is working. Yes.
We work, of course, with the development partners or the donors. As an NGO, we too are dependent upon access to funds through them. And we try and build partnership relationships where we share our mission and philosophy, and they also share with us their strategies, and we try to find common approaches.
In the continued fight against poverty, sustained growth in income should be given the top priority. This, if practiced by several organizations as PEN, ownership and sustainability of community projects will be guaranteed, as the community is able to develop the agenda and be a facilitator of their own community projects with locally generated resources.
Nundu kwa maende wala nina mwela ndana ina mbeza isusi aveni jina ina mo keka ni mama na makwata na grupu nigenda makanewa chao makanewa mbeza ika matevya nundu zwila ni bandite mukeno ni nyoka ni thya wa ni thi nani nundu kuziwa kuyoba kube lakini zuti ya ingi ni ngona baile izo pena muonekele muzio kethya ethani ni twakwata na gundi ni tuoma nundu ti usi andu azume utwithia
Nyepel, 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 nyepel,